the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
And good Saturday morning. Want to welcome y'all to, like Dennis Fuller said, another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray. And as you can tell from this happy voice, this is not Larry Ray.
He's not hunting.
He's not hunting. I'm Dave Gabbard, one of your co-hosts for this week. From I still hear music in the background. I guess we're getting accompanied there by Don King. But Dave Gabbard, one of your co-hosts this week here in the studio. Got my other brother Daryl sitting across from me.
Good morning.
Mr. Gene Smith, hunter education guru down here in Shelby County. Got Mr. Greg Ratliff sitting there behind the control board.
Good morning.
Got your finger warmed up so you can point at us?
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Just make sure it's not loaded. But, no, we let Larry. Larry's going to be calling in here in the 7 o'clock hour. We let him sleep an extra hour this morning. No, he's down the road a little piece at Pickwick Landing State Park. The Tennessee Outdoor Riders Association is having their annual conference at Pickwick. So Larry went to attend that to I kid him to learn how to ride, I guess. But now he'll be calling in the 7 o'clock hour and kind of giving us a report and talking with us a little bit. But I got the captain's chair today.
There you go.
Got my co-pilot sitting across from me. So we've got just a chock-full hour and a half
yes,
of
we do.
Outdoor talk, In fact, Gene will be chirping like a cricket, just kind of. But
got a lot of stuff going on.
It's May.
Yeah.
It is May.
Isn't that something?
Second day of May. In fact, finally, I think the rain is over for a while.
I couldn't believe when I saw clear all this week at 80 degrees.
I know we should have a bumper crop of May flowers because we sure had the April shower.
Yeah.
But of course, the farmers are happy. All my farmer friends, this dry weather, they're going from daylight to dark.
I saw a lot of blank fields.
Yeah. And but speaking of farming for a minute, it was surprising, but last fall, after the harvest, they got their crop out. A lot of farmers I know up around the Carroll and Henry County area, they planted some stuff, and I looked over in the field, and I go, what is that? So I was talking to one of them. I said, what y'all got planted over there? And he said, canola. Canola. And it was so funny because during the winter, that canola field looked like a bunch of frost-bitten lettuce laying
Oh,
on the
really?
ground.
Wow.
And here, 1st of April, it takes off growing, and it was about, 3 foot high, and just as the flowers on them, just beautiful bright yellow.
Wow.
Here's these just huge fields of beautiful bright yellow flowers.
Not yellow tops, but the canola.
No, the canola.
All right.
And it's the yellow tops that you see in the fields now.
Yeah.
That's blooming. Just brighten that up by about 10%.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
And you'd have those flowers of canola. In fact, a friend of mine who's a photographer, he was doing
Oh yeah.
doing some wedding invitation photos for this young couple, and he took them out to. He said, "Wear something,"
Oh yeah.
and took them out to a canola field. It was just
Now, how big's the
beautiful.
bloom on those?
It kind of looks like that yellow top.
Okay.
But it'll be interesting. What I want to see, because I've never seen canola in the fields, and to have see what kind of head it does make.
Yeah.
With that flour. But
Now I'm being dumb now. Do you eat that canola?
no, they get the oil out of it.
Okay.
Canola oil.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew that name sounded familiar.
So
Canola
that's-
oil.
so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what- But that's interesting. To me that you always see something. But this is open mic Saturday.
Yes, it is.
Here at ESPN 790 AM. And our numbers, of course, is local 901-274-7979. Or the outside area, the 800 number, of course, is 800-759-6279. So, give us a call. This
And we
is
do
an
have
open mic.
prizes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do have prizes. We'll be giving away prizes throughout the show. So,
If you got any questions, we got a lot of answers.
yeah, we can tell you something. but the biggest thing, of course, and we'll lead in, the commission, Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission, met, a week or so ago in Paris, up there while at the world's biggest fish fry was going on.
All
up
right.
there.
Yeah.
But the April meeting is traditional meeting where our agency, the Wildlife Management Section, will present to the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission what our recommendations are for hunting seasons,
Right.
for the upcoming hunting seasons. And, because that way they look at it and then we can put it out to the public, and let's get the public comment if there's anything different, and this season, this meeting's, probably the biggest thing, people, by far is the deer seasons. And this was one of the shortest deer presentations that, that Chuck Yost, our deer coordinator in Nashville, he just, had two county recommended changes over in Middle and East Tennessee for some antlerless hunt. The rest of it was no change. Well, there was, quite of a lively discussion going on, but the commission instructed the agency. There's a lot of talk and a lot of, I guess, interest, because it wouldn't have come up if there wasn't, about reducing the buck bag limit down to 2. We have a 3
Right.
bag limit right now. So they instructed our Wildlife Management Division to draw for next month for the May meeting where they set the seasons, to have a proclamation made up for that shows that 2 buck limit. Now, what the agency wants to know, and the commission too, they instructed this, we have a comment period,
Right.
for the hunters out
Very
there.
important.
Very important to see what the people, the hunters, but the deer hunters out there, comment whether they want to keep it 3 or want to go back to 2. We always have back leading up to April, a comment period for people who, maybe have hunting season recommendations that, and we, as an agency, every recommendation that comes in from the public, we look at. The only thing that we say is, hey, if you got a recommendation, you send it to us. We want the data. We want your argument with that to back it up.
Right. Why you want to change?
Yeah. Just not something out of the blue. Said, well,
Right.
I think this and think that. Well, why do you think that? And give us your data. What your reasoning for it. Well, this is just a comment period now that say, hey, do I like the 3 buck limit, or no, I think it ought to go to 2.
I've heard talk of both ways.
Yeah,
It's
there's
yeah.
arguments. You can give arguments
Yeah.
both ways. So, if you got a comment, it will be about let's see, the commission will meet like the 21st and 22nd of May, so that will prior, to about the the 18th of May, to get those in. And you can email them. You can go to twra.comment@tn.gov and email them in. And in the heading, put hunting season comments on the subject line. Or you can mail them to our Wildlife Management Division in Nashville at P.O. Box 40747, Nashville, Tennessee. And you can pick up any hunting guide.
I was going to say, it could be in the hunting guide, yeah.
Look and get that address, or if you go online, to our website, tnwildlife.org, and on the news releases, you'll see this news release talking about it. So we're wanting, for, the public, to comment on this.
Well, if you get a hunter who spends a lot of time in the woods, he'll have a good reason.
Yeah.
Pro or con.
And so it's, so that is probably will be the most interesting thing, coming up. The other thing that our management section recommended is here for some of our WMAs here in West Tennessee, especially our bottomland, WMAs like Tully, John Tully and Moss Island. Now, when you look at the history over the last, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, we've been hit pretty hard with high water.
Right.
So, and it's kind of messed up the turkey, hatch. So, last year or this year for this season, we had some quota hunts, went back to the old quota hunt system on some of the WMAs. Well, they're going to change those a little bit and go to some non-quota hunts. They're going to shorten the days, but it's going to be non-quota. So everything. So that's one of the. And the other thing that they discuss is in the big game proclamation is bear. Of course, we don't have too many bears.
No.
You have to go to East Tennessee, the bars up there.
Bars.
Yeah. But a few of those, but. Other thing that affected turkeys a lot for the fall the sex hunt, there was a lot of middle Tennessee counties over there that has been kind of seeing a decline, they think, in their turkey population. So they eliminated or cut the bag limit back for the fall.
As long as our state is, I imagine a lot of things are so different from county to county
and
or region to region.
And I guess fall turkey season here in Tennessee, to me, it's never caught on.
No.
I guess because people associated it for so many years with spring.
Right.
And it's a little bit different tactic in the fall.
Yeah.
To hunt, turkeys. In the spring, you hear gobbler, and because you're mainly hunting, gobblers. And but a legal bird in Tennessee is a bearded bird, and there are hens out there that have beards.
Yes.
So as long as it's got a beard, it's a legal bird to take. But you're calling that gobbler, you're hearing him, and
right.
You're working him. Well, in the fall, it's a little bit different. My tactic was in the fall season. You catch a flock of birds because they start flocking up,
right?
And and you just I always just kind of run at them.
Oh, really?
And busted them up and flushed them, And then you set up right there because
they usually come back.
They will come back
right.
to get together right there. So as they start, moving back in to looking for them to get to kind of flock back up. That's the way I hunted them. So, but I'd like to see just. My opinion and stuff, a primitive.
Oh yeah.
Like a primitive weapons type
real
season.
Primitive.
Yeah, side lock, flintlock, camp lock, and give us one turkey.
There you go.
I'd love to shoot the head off a turkey with my flintlock.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Well, I hear music and Greg's fixing to point his finger. I know. So y'all get up, go get you another cup of coffee, and come on back and join us with Outdoors with Larry Ray.
By Memphis, Tennessee, we've got woodlands, fields, and water.